Okay, let's take a look at our next definition, which is frame gasket, C gasketing. So let's fast forward into, well, it turns out it's just the next page. Gasketing, material applied around the door or frame to close the clearance opening and minimize or restrict the passage of smoke, light, sound, or weather. Yeah. Also scorpions. Lots of things you want to try to keep out. If you're in New Mexico, you want to keep the sand and the scorpions out. There's no doubt. For those clients, I definitely recommend interlocking thresholds. There's no doubt. So, material applied around the door or frame to close the clearance opening and minimize or restrict the passage of smoke, light, sound, acoustical energy, or weather. So whether you have a single door, whether you have a double door, it's probably always a good idea to have some type of gasketing. Even if it's an interior door like a bathroom door, it may not be a bad idea to have maybe something like the Reese 797, something self-adhesive teardrop shape, help at least reduce the movement of air, perhaps help reduce the acoustical energy, light possibly sealing that off. But let's talk about smoke, light, sound, or weather. Smoke, if you've got a smoke door, you'll have to have a product on the opening if you have a smoke labeled opening that is compliant with the requirements of a smoke labeled opening. Very common in hotel doors, in the corridors. Hotels, those are smoke doors. Very much of the time you're going to see smoke gasketing. When it comes to light, that's just obvious. You may have an application where, here's an application. Restaurant guys in Chicago would always order from us the bristle door sweeps, heavy duty nylon bristle. The reason they order that is because the inspector is coming. It's a restaurant, they're being inspected routinely. If the inspector can see daylight, he knows that the critters can get inside. The flies, the mosquitoes, whatever it is. The bristle does a really great job at blocking out light. Plus, mosquitoes and flies don't like landing on bristle. So those types of bristle door sweeps are good at blocking out light. You might just have an application where you may have a residential theater room. Very typical, very common. We always get emails from someone who's building an 8-inch thick door out of studs and plywood, and they want to seal that off. When it comes to sound, yeah, STC rated openings. Sound transmission control, very typical, very common, whether it be the Chicago Lyric Opera all the way down to a mechanical room in a retail environment where they need to keep the sound down. There may be ear handling equipment in there, there may be a compressor in there, whatever it might be. They want to keep the sound down. A doctor's office would be typical. They're using very small compressors in there. Weather, well, that's the easiest way to describe why you might need gasketing. For exterior doors, you're going to absolutely need it. There is an astonishing amount of energy lost by not having gasketing on an opening. Here at our office, about 15 feet, 20 feet that way, when the weather stripping fatigues Southwest Florida, I can feel, when I stand on the outside and put my hand over the gap between the door and jamb, I can feel the cold air conditioning expelling through the opening around the perimeter. I can feel it. Let's switch to the screen view and let's take a look at some weather stripping manufacturers that come to mind for me when I think of these products. Let's do that.
If you are enjoying this video, please click thumbs up or like, and also please consider subscribing to our channel. Let's move on to the rest of the video.
Alright, let's take a look at frame gasket. C gasketing. Like I said, it's on the next page. Here's our definition. Material applied around the door or frame to close the clearance opening and minimize or restrict the passage of smoke, light, sound, or weather. Let's start with smoke first. So the Pemco S88 is the first one that comes to mind for smoke rated material. S88D, whatever color you want, this is going to be installed in lots of applications. Smoke rated UL 1802, cut sheet. Right there, smoke rated. So for openings that require a very particular rating, yes, smoke, whether it be smoke or 20-minute, 45, 60, 90-minute, 3-hour, whatever the rating is, you have to be compliant. And smoke is also a rating. So PEMCO is the one that I think of first. Now, the next one was light. Let's try light. I'm going to pull up National Guard just to be fair and balanced. And when I think of light, a couple of things. I think of this batwing material that's installed like this. Really effective at stopping the transmission of light. It's just what comes to mind. After that, let's take a look at sound. Well, the one that comes to mind for sound is definitely going to be Zero. Even though they're not the only people that do SDC rated material. PEMCO does. Everyone does. Reese does. For sure. The manufacturer's catalog. Now, there's something to be mindful of this material. I did a job where I supplied, it was a mechanical room in a retail environment. They spec'd out a Reese, could have been a 770. Could have been. And the issue was, I committed an error. They had Schlage ND series locks. This was far too thick vis-a-vis the diameter of the rosette to fit on the door. And they literally just didn't install the sound transmission gasketing. They shipped it back to us and said, you can have it. We're not going to use it. Okay. I learned something there that day. It didn't occur to me to be mindful of that. And I haven't made that mistake since. So 914, so 29, 30 seconds, something like that. If we're going to do 2.75 minus half of, I think that rose on the D series was, the ND series was 3 7/16 minus 0.914. Yeah, by the time they installed it, there was very little left. 21, 30 seconds, something like that. Minus 2.75. Yeah, it was, you know, and then you've got minus 0.914. It was very much something like that. It may not have been the 770. It may have been something even thicker because it just didn't fit. And it was not 2 3/8 backside. Yeah. So Zero certainly comes to mind when it comes to STC or sound transmission control, gasketing. They've been a leader in this forever. It would be a wise idea to dive into their catalog and just familiarize yourself with STC ratings. They're not the only people that do it by any stretch of the imagination. Or weather. Let's pull up the Reese catalog because Reese is who I think of when it comes to weather, and I'll tell you why. 3 reasons. Their customer service is phenomenal, well above average. Their dark bronze anodized is the best in the business. Plus, they're the only manufacturer that propagates polyurethane as an insert. And I'm going to scroll down and get to polyurethane. Before we do that, I think this threshold, I know this threshold is discontinued, but this is really a phenomenal belt and suspenders. You got a seal here. You got a hook strip that you can put here. Someone may still make it, I'm not sure. I didn't have enough opportunities to use this threshold because I like the belt and suspender approach. Let's keep going to polyurethane. Here it is. 4 times the tear resistance, 40 times the tensile strength, and nearly 100 times the abrasion resistance of silicone. Flexible to a really cold temperature, unaffected by ultraviolet. Yeah, you better believe here in Florida, you can get a suntan sitting on your balcony when there's complete cloud coverage because there's ultraviolet. resistant to fungus, petroleum-based solvents, unaffected by halon, fire extinguishing. It's funny, I've had industrial customers call and say, I need to replace all the gasketing. Why? Well, we had a fire event, and the fire extinguisher chemical compromised the gasketing. Now, not any longer than just yesterday, a client, a college in Miami, Florida, we got this maintenance engineer. He calls me. He says, "Tell me what to use." And he needed a couple of door sweeps, and he wasn't satisfied with what he was using. He was probably getting them out of the local Home Depots of the world. I said the best in the business is going to be the 772 by Reese. It's going to be polyurethane, extremely abrasion resistant. It's going to be there. It's not going to fatigue when you're dragging it over concrete, okay? So really, really great. And you can also do perimeter gasketing in it as well. Now, I also think of gasketing for weather when it comes to split astragals. Split astragals means that you have a pair of doors and you're going to install an astragal on the face of each door. Now, the ones, what I like a lot, and this also is compliant with the requirement for light. Forgive me, I was going the wrong way. I don't remember the part number. I think it's 997. Brush. Yeah, here are split astragals, by the way. Meeting style astragals. Close that off. Pairs of doors. Close them off. But these, oh, 195. Split astragal. Split means it's an astragal that's cut in half. One goes on this door, one goes on this door. These are magnets. Every time you close the door, they close it up, just like this. Door open. So I like that one a lot. When it comes to other gasketing, here in Southwest Florida, you can get some horizontal rain. It sure is nice to have interlocking gasketing. This is really good for light, obviously, but it's good to just retard the penetration of stuff you want to keep out. More door sweeps. While we're in this catalog, let's also take a look at their automatic door bottoms. Every weather stripping manufacturer makes these. I don't necessarily love the Reese automatic door bottoms, admittedly. They don't come with end caps. In fact, they don't make end caps for these, and I consider that an incomplete installation. And I had one that was actually defective. It didn't work right, which was really weird, but that's not unheard of. You got to look at Zero when it comes to heavy-duty automatic door bottoms. Their stuff is, again, belt and suspenders. There's one more manufacturer that I'd like to show you, and you may not have heard of them, is Sealy's. I like Sealy's a lot because the only thing they do is brush, period. That's all they do. Now, two things come to mind with Sealy's. Overhead doors, either residential or industrial. You're going to need some sort of an angled material for an overhead door. If you go to your house, your overhead door in your garage, there's probably something angled. It'll be likely a vinyl thin, but if you have a corrugated metal overhead roll-up door like we have, you're going to need some type of brush. Now, there's another product that they make that's brilliant. If you think about a pair of doors and running the astragal long to the bottom of the door and the door sweeps that are on the door, what do you cut short? The sweeps or the astragals? At the end of the day, you're going to have a loss of coverage. Now, Sealy's, they have these kits that are the same width of your meeting style split astragals and the same width or height of your door sweep. They're literally maybe 4 inch by 4 inch, and they are just an angle is all they are. Let's see if I have actually a photo or something of them. I have a video of them that you can watch.
If you have need for a custom length, by all means let us know by ordering the next longest piece.
Hello,
or
my
pieces,
name is Rich Howard,
and indicate
owner
in
of
the comment
Architectural
field
Builder.
what length you'd
Supply
like
this
for us to cut
video
the material
is to
back
bring you a
to.
close
Now the reasoning is this: if you had to take this 48-inch piece,
brilliant.
let's say cut it down to 42-inch, you're going to eliminate that slotted hole.
They
And
also
speaking
make
of slotted holes,
brush
this is where these tech screws come in.
for the
These are self-drilling screws. They have a drill point and a hex head. If you had to cut it down, you'd eliminate that slotted hole. Now that slotted
Also
hole is
get this in
crucial
DUR
to helping
finish
contour
without
this to the bottom of an
So-
irregular floor surface
to a sill that's not level, or maybe to a frame or a door that's not plumb, or something that's slightly warped. And given all of the reasons that we said before, you're really going to want a slotted hole. The disadvantage of cutting it down, sure, this is aluminum, and sure, this is just not.
And that's what I come up with on this definition of gasketing or frame gasketing. Please let me know what you think about all that. Frame joint. Frame joint. The intersection of two or more frame members. Let's talk about that. Let's move on to that one.
Thank you for watching, and if you've enjoyed this video, please click thumbs up, please subscribe, and maybe even send the video to someone that you know. Thank you.